What up, y'all? It's Laia from Questlove Supreme. We are back with part 2 of the conversation between Adam Levine and Questlove Supreme. It rhymes, so it must make sense. Anyway, look, if you haven't, you must hear part 1. Now, don't forget, we did this in studio in New York. So there's a really great roll call that Adam kills, and he talks about his first musical memories, lots of funny stories, and so much more. So check that out. Now, let's get to part 2 of Adam Levine and kick it off with the ever so brilliant Fonte with his question.
How did y'all make the transition from the Carol's Flowers days to working on your first Songs About Jane, the first record?
So I remember very distinctly, we were like, okay, fortunately we were all super young, so I thought in my mind, I'm like, we're running out of time,
Nah, for real, yeah.
19,
You don't realize how young you are. Yeah,
no, but that's part of the motivation though, because I was so driven that I was like, okay, we got to go now or it's gonna be too late. And it's just a lot of exploration and getting into. I started loving different musical styles because for a long time, that's kind of like when Stevie Wonder came in. I started listening to a lot of Al Green and Bill Withers records. So shit just changed for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I knew I hadn't found my own thing yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so I started listening to the Police a lot, Prince, just shit that wasn't like Weezer, or like Green Day, or the shit that I was listening to growing up. And I started influence started changing. I started loving to go see people, musicians play, for hours. Just going to see stuff, going to see guys that could do it on a level that was really amazing. And so that changed the way I approached music, and I think singing definitely. I think I have to credit Stevie with the big shift in the way I started going at it. And I was in Los Feliz at this point with a bunch of hipsters that were all trying to be like the Strokes, and shit. So it was super uncool to try and sound like what we were trying to sound like.
Yeah. What was the Stevie record that grabbed you?
Songs and Kill.
Songs.
Okay.
But that's what gets you in.
Yeah.
And then you got to go everywhere else.
Right.
But that, of course,
then you go back.
That's also like the White Album.
Yeah.
That's the craziest.
It's everybody's
starting point.
It's a double record.
Would that be Off the Wall, or would that be like Thriller?
Thriller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Songs is Thriller.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Intervisions is
That's off the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, wait. You mentioned
Intervisions came second always.
All right, so we're having Rivers is coming on the show tomorrow because you're a Weezer head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my favorite subject. Are you a Pinkerton? All right, I got to talk to you. All right, here's the deal.
That record's so fucking incredible.
So here, okay.
Well, the blue record is the shit.
Everyone lives for the blue record.
No, man.
But I feel like people sometimes ride for Pinkerton too hard, as in that establishes who they are. I'm sticking to my initial feelings of Pinkerton. I listened to it, and I was like, it's not like the blue record, and I let it go. But then when I started reading, every critic, every music snob was like, Pinkerton's there at a moment. Can you...
Okay, well, here's the thing with Pinkerton.
Okay.
First of all,
Wait, can I also give backstory? So Weezer came out with his debut record, and, in an era of grunge music and all that stuff, and sort of created their own lane in 1994. And then in 96, they kind of pulled a 180 and did an opposite record, or maybe a departure record. I don't know. It remains to be seen. We'll ask them on the show in the future. And so they did this art record, and I don't know. For me,
look, I understand the criticism of it because the first one was super polished,
right?
And it was thought through, and every song had, I don't know, it was kind of a perfect album, honestly.
Right.
And then the second one was raw and unleashed, and it was kind of a fuck you record, kind of.
I kind of think they were trying to
but that's
stop
okay.
their progress.
Maybe. The things that we shared a manager at the time.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So he gave us the record, and I remember cassette tapes. Fucking old. I had the tape before it came out, and I wore it out in my car, and I listened to it every single day, whenever I could. so I have like a special relationship with it because I felt like I had this like in where I could hear something before everyone else did.
Right.
And then they did the record. I went to Tower Records, fucking Tower Records. Parking lot. They played the whole second record, and now they're coming back and playing the Blue record.
Right.
Yeah, 30th anniversary.
Which I got to see.
Yeah.
But Pinkerton is like, it doesn't sound good. Like the production's it's kind of like, you could tell they were trying to just like throw it together. The guitar sounds weren't like pristine, like the ones that Rick Ocasek got were like so huge. It didn't have like an aggressive feeling to it. It was artsy, like you said, but like the songs were just kind of as good. I believe the songs were as good. It just they didn't give a shit. They didn't want to sit there and like do takes forever, and you could feel that. But I kind of just looked through it, and it kind of has like Pixies production, you know, where it's just like big fat drums and just kind of disorganized, but it's chaos, but it's great, and I don't know, I fucking love it. And then they got more. Then they kind of went back to like putting it all together,
right?
So it's special. I think that's why everyone who knows, but it feels like that's what was so special.
I always expected the Departure album to be like the 4th or 5th album after you establish a canon. And for them to...
It's kind of hard, though, to like come out and just be like, hey, here you go. Like, fuck you.
Well, I was hella confused at the time, and I think, once 3 or 4 years went by, and then suddenly I saw this critical turnaround, like, that was their greatest album. I didn't want to immediately jump on the bandwagon, so I, like, held on tight to my initial feelings to it.
Well, what's crazy, though, is that, like, they had a crazy thing, because that happened, and then you thought that was a wrap, probably, right? Because it was like... But then they, like... Then people don't even know that record exists. If you either love Pinkerton or you don't even know or care about it, because they made these other poppier records as time went on that were like much more akin to the first one.
Right.
So it was this weird blip on their trajectory.
And they rarely touch it live in concert, which to me, I don't know if they...
I don't know how they see
believe in it.
I want to listen to it, see how he feels about it, because it must be a really interesting perspective coming from him.
Weezer was one of your North Stars.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You can be your own North Star.
Do you see me trying to figure that one out?
Listen, I just need
But
you
you
to
played it
join
well.
Questlove Supreme.
I was like, yeah, I mean, it isn't not my North Star.
You ain't hit the 5-0 yet, Adam.
No, but Weezer was the band that I was like, and then we departed from them, and I started listening to all this other shit, and that kind of changed everything. And also, I loved going against a sick desire to always not do what everybody was doing, like in town, and it was this like resurgence of like, it was like Joy Division was back, and everyone was loving that, and it was all, Strokes were so big, and you can't. One thing will say I've learned over time is like, you cannot do it better than the people who are doing it best in that moment. And everyone kind of tries to go for that.
Always.
And you're like, don't do that. Like, you need to juxtapose this a little bit. And trust me, people didn't like it. Like, we started doing shows and shit, and people would be like, that sounds like Michael Jackson. Like, what the fuck is this guy thinking? Kind of.
See, I heard it. I was like, oh, it sounds like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I was like, that's when the Negroes came. Like, wait a minute, who is Maroon 5?
So were you?
The whites didn't understand.
Listen, we've been rocking ever since.
But the whites did understand.
In
That
the
was
beginning.
the best part. Everybody understood.
In the
that.
beginning, though,
the
Bill.
hipsters in Hollywood were like, what the fuck is this guy
Because
doing?
it's LA, and it's LA too. He's not in New York. Now, if the whites in New York, y'all probably would have been down. But it's
I don't know,
LA.
I fuck with it. It sounded like a funk band.
Yeah.
Like white kids who could play funk. Not
Yeah.
like a college
It was
band.
exciting to be doing shit we kind of like weren't supposed to be doing at first.
Dig.
Because I was like, fuck it, we're going to do it. We can pull this off.
I remember once, I forget who I saw on MTV, and they were talking about like, yo, that's my jam, whatever, This Love. And I was DJing, and I remember that I needed like a mid-tempo song in C, and I was like scrolling, and I was at the end of the alphabet, and I saw This Love. I was like, well, I never played that before. Let me see what happens. And I played it, and motherfuckers started like,
People love that song.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Great song,
shit,
dog.
really?
Yeah. That's
And
one
then
of those ones. Yeah.
in a moment of desperation, I didn't know that was even clubbable.
Weirdly, it is. And like when we play it live, like the minute you go into oh, people just freak out, and that's one of those moments. It's the most.
Is that
proud.
your lighter moment? Like,
No, that's the like no one like the moment in the concert. I'm like, yeah, it is this time for this shit. Like,
where does it fall on your set?
early.
You're one of those guys early.
Got a lot of hits.
I know you get tired, Adam.
That's
Oh my God.
Gotta
Well,
stretch
here's
it
the
out.
thing. Number one, you guys have a lot of hits,
Yes.
so you can afford that flex.
Yeah.
We did a show once We did a show in the last six. In the last 6 months.
Grammys.
In the last 6 months, we did a show with the Spin Doctors.
Oh Jesus.
And them
Dang.
motherfuckers actually had the nerve to make like 2 Princes like number 5
Ooh.
in a 17-song set. And I ran to the side of the stage like, yo, they can afford to flex 2 Princes that early, and the answer was kind of no. Like, and I was wondering how that works when like you play your biggest shit, like. Oh, and they just did it so casual, like, oh, and also
Everybody
this
leave.
song.
Just be like EMF, start and end with "You're Unbelievable."
Yeah.
Wow.
Biz Marquee.
Yeah.
Biz Marquee starts and ends with
Just a friend.
every time.
You know who's gonna argue with that?
No
Zero
one.
people.
The crowd won't.
Yeah.
It's like not self-respecting, but it's so sick to do that.
But wait, what is it like in a culture where it's like singles to have written an album of hits? You guys have that album is hits.
It's hits out the ass.
Hits out
Yeah.
the ass. Like I mean, there are other, of course, but like that's a rarity. How's that
Yeah.
feel, Adam?
Well, what's crazy? We talk about like Eddie Grant and people who had the one, and then they gotta chase that.
Yeah.
That's always like the crazy thing. I remember when we had our first big hit, and it was funny because "This Love" was our first huge hit. Remember, actually, it was the second biggest song of the year. You know what the first biggest song of the year was? Usher, yeah. I was
And
like,
This Love is-
I'll never. We were number 2, man. Usher that year, but it was that meant both those songs were so big.
Yeah.
And it was like my whole thought process, because the first one we had, "Harder to Breathe," which is the first song on the album, that was like top 5, I think. And then back when you could know what a hit was. Now I
That
don't even know
part,
what the
yeah,
fuck a
nah,
hit is.
yeah.
There's no gauge. This Love got so big, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, and then She Will Be Loved got huge, and I'm like, oh my god! I was like, tear worthy, because you think, okay, it could be it. Like, one might be it, and you know what? Luckiest
Thank God for that
thing
one.
in the
Yeah.
Do you
world.
get worried when something gets too successful? Are you automatically thinking like, okay, can we keep it up? Can we?
The hit game is a crazy thing because like your expectations get really unreasonably high.
What is that? Okay, well, metaphorically speaking, what is that high like when?
Oh, God, I don't know, having hits, multiple hits, it's like 2 number 1 hits feels like a million because you've officially escaped the
One hit wonder.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's when you know it's real, and that's when you know you could like really run with it. I think it's hard. You get pigeonholed. You know, you get put in this place where you're like, this will define you forever. This song's gonna follow you around. And when you escape that a little bit, it feels really liberating because then you're like, okay, like this has a life beyond. Again, in a lot of ways, it's a champagne problem because a hit is a hit is a hit. Like,
Yeah.
But it's look, as we know, it's hard to latch onto that when that's all people know.
Can you even fit all your hits in one show, or do you gotta?
I mean, it depends. Like, I'm a weirdo where it's like I love it when they're all big, and then the ones that aren't as big, I'm like, all right, we'll do that one there. Fine. but that's how it started. Is like I remember because the band would fight a lot more back in the day about songs being, and we still they still want to put shit in the set. I'm like, are you crazy?
How do you guys decide who's the alpha when it comes to? Okay.
Yeah, me. But also we've done things where we've tried shit out, and I'm like, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. We'll do it anyway, and then it maybe like, and it's on the rare occasion that I'm wrong.
Okay.
But people want to hear. I think when and I guess you could say it's like sometimes I wish we could kind of branch out and play more that I thought was going to be more received well. But then I feel like there's an expectation, like you're not going to play Girls Like You.
Right, so you have to
You're
do
playing
your
that song or you're an asshole. So, like that's once again, champagne problems. But it's so fun to have a set full of hits. And when I remember when we first started, it was like, shit, okay, this one gotta go here, and then this one gonna go here, and then this one has to go here. And then it was like, oh, but why not? My whole thing was like, oh, what if we were just all hits? That's what I was thinking. I was like, manifest. Talking about manifest. I was like, gotta make them all hits.
Where is Wait in y'all's section? I love that song, man.
We don't play that song enough.
Are you serious?
I knew that was one. That was one of them.
We
yeah.
don't play that song enough.
Man.
And I love that song. I mean, it's hard because it's kind of mellow.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard because we have a lot of ballads all of a sudden.
So do you think? All right. So I always judge.
I love that song though.
Nah, that's a jam, man, for real.
I mostly judge acts not on the hits but the filler. Mm-hmm. Like again, a lot of your favorite Stevie Wonder songs are filler songs. Like at least for me, like "Pastime Paradise" wasn't a hit, wasn't a single. another
No
fun
one cared
fact.
about that
Do you
song
know?
until the cover. Yeah.
I know, but still,
That
like
part.
when people think of songs in the key of life, they're thinking of Summer Soft. They're thinking of other songs.
Are they though?
I am
Summer
singing.
Soft is like
No.
I love.
No,
Summer-
they're
like,
not,
Summer
Ahmir.
Soft is
I-
my favorite. You were thinking of Summer Soft.
You-
and I'm thinking
yeah.
of Summer Soft.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Here's a great
You
example.
just dropped the one song.
Yeah,
that
and I
no
was
one
like,
cares
no,
about on that
deep
record.
cut.
Yeah.
But here's another great example. Do you know what song was not a single?
What?
Isn't She Lovely? Was never a single.
That's crazy.
On a song. I thought Isn't She Lovely was the first single.
It wasn't
Oh.
a single.
No, it was an album cut that was so goddamn popular that we just thought he eventually made it a B-side of As, which I never.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Did
you know-
Crazy though. But that was a single.
I Wish was the first single. I never knew that.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
I actually thought
As
Isn't She Lovely
or-
was the first single off song, which wasn't the case. I Wish was first. Then
That record's crazy,
Sir Duke was second.
Dude, yeah.
And Sue
I Am
Duke and I
Singing?
Wish are back to back, right? On the record. They go into each other.
Yeah.
Yo, P.S.
That's what's so fucked up about that record. It's like, oh my god.
It's all, oh my God. But P.S. Adam, was it? What did you feel like when you saw that PJ did the whole Stevie duet? Because,
Crazy.
like you said, right? Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
He's talked about it a lot too.
Okay, get into the. So
We should
tell the
fuck
story
with him.
of how.
We're like, oh, like you'll be late. We're like, oh, we was Steve.
Nice one.
Because they're friends now.
Can you talk about the expansion of the band and the whole story of how?
Yeah, with PJ.
Yes.
So yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm trying to think. So Jesse, basically like Jesse left for a little bit and came back. He's in the band again now. He plays guitar. He started as a guitar player, but keyboards. So when he left, he was like, should we gotta have someone play keys? PJ came in. I think that was it. I think once PJ was in, we had like there was like okay, well like a bunch of people are gonna come today. And when PJ came in, I'm like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, 'cause this is now full story because we have PJ's perspective, Adam Blackstone too, right? Because
Yeah,
Adam
yeah.
Blackstone involved in PJ.
Well, you
Yeah.
introduced me to, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that was like the first. There was a period where I thought I was going to be the exhibit of music. I think once the Tonight Show came, then it was like I can't do this, so I got to pass it off to somebody. So then you guys called, and I was like, wait, why would a group with hits want anyone from the Roots to determine their future? Like I literally talked myself out of it. I'm like, wait, he wants me to what? They got hits. Like they don't need me. Like just.
Thank God.
Spread
they
your
came in.
6 hits like throughout and so we put Adam on the case, of which
Yeah.
I thought like they might not go for this. Like I think they want me there, so I physically went out there.
Well, and then Blackstone taught me a lot about shit that I took from him, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do. And then I
Right, because
kinda
he was
took-
y'all music director.
He was our MD for a couple tours, but then I was like, then I kind of like took all the. I was like, okay, now I know, dude, we good.
Oh, get out of here, son.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you the session for Heard 'Em Say with Kanye. What do you remember about
Oh my God! Yes,
that was
Adam.
crazy.
Oh
That-
my,
that
thank
was
you,
a
Fonte.
crazy. Thank you for bringing that up. That was one of my most favorite moments. Yes. We were on a we were playing. I don't know how I met him, but back then it was like everybody was around everybody all the time. It was just there was actually a scene still, and we were at the EMAs. We were on our way to the EMAs in Europe, and he was on the plane, and we met, and we talked, and he was like, "Hey, I got this. Hey, let's do something." And this is when Crazy was really working in his favor because he was so awesomely just fucking there in it always. The moment was talk about seizing the moment. And so we're on the plane. He plays me this beat, and I was like, I got something perfect for it. He's like, all right, cool. I'll hit you when I get back to LA. We'll go in the studio. And it was with John Brion, which I thought was like the craziest choice.
Yeah.
So cool. Like that what makes that record sound so great, I think, is that collaboration was awesome. Because John comes in with all his like organic instruments and like really puts.
No comment.
All right, fuck. I ain't getting involved.
Amir hateration moment.
All right, whatever.
I had Brian first.
Let me tell you something. I was an outsider looking.
No,
in,
I
right?
know. I'm playing. It wasn't meant to be good.
I liked the collaboration on paper.
Brian was going to come in and work with us, and then he got a better offer and was like, "Sorry, guys."
Oh, okay. Who dissed you for Kanye?
Yeah. So I don't feel no
It happens.
certain way about it.
No, you don't. You look very non-committal. All right, here we go.
I'm sorry. I would have liked to hear that record. Anyway, so I show up and I'm like, he's there, they're there, and they're like, hey, go in, do it, and we cut it, and it was just one of the best music, I've discovered, and it's taken me long enough to realize this, happens instantly and without thinking about it. And the worst thing you could ever do, I think, is sit down and like try to write a song, because that won't ever work. You know, I can't just be like, okay. And so it just has to be, you have to be so unself-conscious and just free to, and that was it. And now he trusted me, I trusted him. I think he gave me like, he gave me zero. Neither one of them really said much. They were kind of just let me do my thing. And then I left, and I was there for an hour, you know, but it was just so quick and easy.
So you wrote what you sang?
So I wrote the hook so he had like heard him say.
Yeah.
Like,
I
heard
heard
him
him
say,
say,
tomorrow
"Tomorrow
day."
day.
And so then I had a song that actually, I put the song on an album of ours that was the version of Heard Him Say before. But ours was like, his was nothing's ever promised tomorrow, today. And mine was nothing lasts forever, but be honest, it hurts, but it will be maybe the only way. And we took those two and we smashed them together and made what became Heard Him Say. But it was the same melody. So the melody went over the beat perfectly, like eerily perfectly. And I was like, shit, that was just one of those like synergistic moments that I'll never forget. And then it's one of my favorite things I ever wrote.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's always hard.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
And then to this day, that's like, of all the shit I've managed to accomplish with Maroon 5, like that's the number one thing that I get the most love, especially from guys.
I did it on my. Yeah, okay.
The guys are feel comfortable saying that they love. They may not say comfortable they like sugar, but they they don't mind dropping the Kanye record.
So where you guys are now with doing your residency stuff, how do you and it's so weird that, you know, maybe pre Celine Dion,
Yeah.
Vegas was seen as a 4-letter word of a career, like you want to avoid the end of the train stop, which is that, but now it's almost like
It's the shit.
you got to get a Vegas record.
Usher killed
It's
that
crazy.
shit.
Vegas used to be that way. A singer being on TV used to be that way. You'd be like, shit, is this it? You're gonna do a TV show? So it's changed so much, and I think we gotta let it come to us over time, because we had a couple offers early. And I was like, it was too scary because nobody was really doing it yet.
Did you have trepidation about accepting the voice? Like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
I'm a singer-songwriter, and I don't want to.
It's like, what the like back then? I mean, it was like 2011, 12.
Did you discuss it with the band first, or like?
Oh, the band was not happy.
I know they weren't, because it's like, I'm not working. What you mean you going to
band was
work
like-
every day?
But also forget about that. They were like, "What are you doing?
Right. And what that's going to make us look
You got a
like?
chair that's gonna spin around, fucking gonna ruin our career." So there was a lot of fear with the voice, and like I remember that too. And I remember even then being like, remember earlier something like, "Hey, let me lead."
Yeah.
Right.
Even I didn't believe my own words, but I was like, "It's good. It's gonna be great." I was like, "Shit, I don't know." Because the band kind of like plateaued a little bit, and so we were looking for something, and it was one of those moments where I was like, "This could either be the biggest disaster or the greatest." I'm either gonna look like a genius or an idiot. There's no in between here.
Man, you was
So
the
what was the
genius.
process of coming up with Jagger? And at the time, did you feel like, all right, this is it, or was it like an arranged marriage situation where it's like, I gotta have a song for the show? And
Well, what's crazy, this is a great story. I'm so happy I could tell you guys this story. This is a great fucking story. So we had a single out. So I think this was like our third album. We had a single out called Never Gonna Leave This Bed, which is a great song, but it just wasn't a hit. And it wasn't, it was kind of stalling and all that stuff. And the label, it would kind of like like I said, the band was kind of plateauing a little bit. But I was on The Voice. I just started shooting The Voice. And this song kind of, Moves Like Jagger just fell into our laps. Like these guys had it, and they were like, originally the story with it was that it was meant for like a female artist to sing about a guy. He's like, he got them moves like Jagger.
Gotcha.
And nobody wanted to touch it, really. And then I think even maybe it was pitched to like Janelle Monáe at a certain point. Like,
Wow.
it was like, I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah,
She obviously didn't want to do it. But like, I remember hearing that name.
right.
It was early. And then I kind of got in there, and I had I'm a lyrics guy. Like, if the lyrics are really bad, like I can't touch something. So I had to go in, and I was like, look, I think this could be great. I'll say I got the moves like Jagger. They're like, are you sure you want to do that? That's kind of a crazy thing to say, because the song was about like a romantic, love interest for a girl. It was like a totally different perspective.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And then fixed the lyrics, which were like not good. And Shellback, great songwriter, producer kind of was his like kernel. It was basically his idea, but there was like gibberish on the lyrics, so I got to run with those a little bit.
Were you allowed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't live with what was there. Like,
You
bro.
said that to this.
Sounds like a Max
Well, I
Martin
had never
situation.
co-wrote before.
Okay.
I didn't know the rules. I was like, yo, we got to change these fucking lyrics.
He's Swedish.
Okay.
They're Swedish.
It was very, it was a lot.
Oh, that is
I
Max.
don't want to sing you
Wait,
some
does
of
he
the
come
original.
from the Max?
It's Max
That's Max
Martin.
and
Okay.
Shellback.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Shellback, and that was like early because he was like Max's protege, kind of.
Gotcha.
Started off.
Do you guys incorporate that in the show?
It is not in the show.
Nah, it's not.
God, I
and
love
Juliet,
Max, too.
the Max Martin. Yeah.
That was like the beginning of my relationship with Max and Shellback, and that was like the Swede era. Who I do though.
Did you physically go there?
No, I didn't go. I haven't gone yet.
Okay.
I still haven't gone, but they were all here.
Their lyrics are all gibberish, though. Most of them. When
They don't give a shit about lyrics, which was great.
They care
For
not
me.
about the words.
What do they
at all.
care about?
melody.
Melody.
Melody. It's all melody.
Now I got to go
Which
back
was
and listen
the-
to all
but
those
all
songs.
science.
But that was a dream for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, cool. I do give a shit about
Right.
lyrics.
And they're free to let you
And
do
they're
it.
like, great.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit. So I was like, awesome. It was a perfect relationship.
So then they prioritized the.
But that's what I'm saying. But they were the best at that. So they had that, and I was like, I'm not talking about like your favorite car, your Ferrari. I'm like, no.
That sounds like them.
I was like, that shit, right?
Okay.
So we changed it. We made it more bearable. Anyway, so that happened. It was great. It was fun. We were like, man, we got a fucking monster. I went to Mark Burnett, who's the producer of The Voice, and I'm like, so we had a single. So here's where the story gets really good. So we had a single out. So the Interscope was pushing the single, and we had this other song, right? That we
Right.
didn't fucking really. I mean, I wrote it, but not really. And Jordan, our manager,
Yeah.
kind of hatched this scheme of like, okay, so we got Christina Aguilera to do the bridge of that song, Moves Like Jagger. She's on The Voice too, obviously. Mark Burnett's like, I want this song. Like, I don't want you to do your single. I want you to do. I played it for him. I played the song for him. Like, this is crazy. He's like, do it on the show, but you have to get someone from The Voice, and we can't play your single. You got to do this song. I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. Interscope's not gonna like this at all.
Is Ron Fair anywhere in the story?
No.
Damn, he was going
This
after
was like
this.
Jimmy. Jimmy was still.
Okay, cool,
Jimmy
cool.
was still kind of running things. He was
Okay.
about to
Whenever I
go.
hear Interscope
Beats was like
success
about
story-
to happen.
Okay, I see.
Okay, gotcha.
He almost kind of didn't give a shit even back then.
Trust
Like,
me.
I sell headphones.
Long, I've been there before. Anyway, go ahead.
God, I don't know. Why don't you just keep going?
You already know.
Hi, man. Listen, I'm Paul.
So many potholes.
But
There you go.
so wait, so
Did you just I'm Paul that
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
between
yeah.
y'all?
Between y'all, straight up.
Man,
Paul.
listen.
Facts.
Come on.
Love this guy.
I ain't
All right,
saying-
good.
So we were like, okay, how do we do this? Because we got a fucking song. So we didn't tell anybody Interscope, which is like crazy, right? We just did it, and it was live, right? So
Right.
So that was when like the song would go available. It would like you do something on TV,
next day.
a zillion people would watch it because that's when people used to watch TV, and then the next day the shit would just boom, shoot to the top on like iTunes and all that
iTunes,
stuff.
yeah.
That was those days. And so we just didn't tell anybody. We did it live. And then, of course, and so that night, Jimmy, everybody calls and is like, what the fuck? Like, our president, our label guy, our indie guy was like, this is what the fuck? You guys went rogue. Like, you have a single out. I can't believe you didn't. This is the worst piece of shit I've ever heard in my life. What are you doing? And Jordy was just like cold-blooded. He was just like, let's talk in the morning.
So Jordan, he
Jordan.
knew.
And he was like, let's just talk in the morning. And of course, the morning, boom, biggest song on the planet. And so that was the moment where it was like, okay, record label, we will deliver the songs to you and you will put them out. Like, that was the battle that we won. And I will talk shit about all this because I don't give a fuck. Like, because record labels shouldn't tell, I don't think, bands what to do. And so that was where we took all the power because they were completely wrong. And we took a bold move. Hey, if we were wrong, it would be like,
your ass,
we would be babysat for the rest of our lives.
You would own it, right?
But
Plus, you had a steady after that. It's like I'm still on this platform, so I'm gonna still be selling your shit, and it's gonna go higher because I'm here. So shut the
So
fuck
what
up.
like I
point-
said,
at what
we
point did they-
became A&R in that moment. I was like,
Fuck up.
give me my
Yeah.
badge.
So after that, then they just left you guys alone. And
I don't think I talked to another person at a record label to this day.
it's nice.
I love it.
Okay, so I did want to ask you, as a member of a band whose manager was kind of like our fifth Beatle, Richard Nichols, like he was our Peter Grant, our
Yeah, yeah.
our George Martin. that devastated us so much that we never made an album after. Like it took us 10 years to make, and one of the biggest fears was, how do we even navigate without his presence to tell us things? How did you bounce back from Jordan's passing away? Like, how did that affect the band?
You know, it'll never be the same. I think, like, for accepting that is important because, man, dude, when he passed away, first of all, it was super sudden. It was super tragic. He was too young. It was so still to this, every single day, not a day goes by I don't think about it. Mm-hmm. And it was a crazy moment because, like, he passed away. All of a sudden, we were thrust into that whole Super Bowl nightmare, which couldn't have needed him more for anything than I did in that moment. Didn't have him.
2019, I think?
19.
Okay.
Yeah. So that all these things happened that I really needed him for. So yeah, look, we talked every day. Every single decision we made was a joint decision. Nothing was decided alone. So I felt overwhelmed because I did make a lot of these decisions with him, right? So, and then we go to talk to the band. So, shit, I mean, it's a hole that will never be filled. I think that I kind of thought to myself, okay, we got to have a couple big songs because that, first of all, he lived and died by, that was like, if we could do that, nothing would make him happier. You know, us sustaining things, it was almost like that's what kept me going. Was like, okay, I know what this dude wants, right? And you know, you get into the ethereal and the spiritual and all that stuff, but like, I definitely felt like I knew what he would be saying, right? Like, whether I was telling myself that or not, it's still, I could feel him all the time, and I kind of tried to let him, because you know, we have great people, and you know, great people taking the reins, but of course it's never gonna be, they all know it's never gonna be the same. And I just tried to like listen for him a little bit and just go, okay, I could tell when he was angry. I could tell when he was fucking laughing. Wow. I could tell when I was about to make a decision that he would be pissed that I would make. Right. And just tried to like adhere to that a little bit. But I mean, it's just, and still, I mean, it's not as heavy as it was in the beginning, but like, and when we did the Super Bowl, I mean, no one really caught it. But this first thing I said on that mic was like, "This is for you, Jordy," you know, and that like helped. And then once, the most exciting moment I think for me, kind of post Jordan, was surviving the Super Bowl, but that's a whole fucking nightmare conversation. But it was like having a big song, like Memories, Girls Like You, like those were big songs, and they were after Jordy, and so like. That made me feel like, okay, like we can do a version of this, like without him, but it also never feels like he was really gone. So it's we and still every night I play Memories, it's like think about him every single night. Him. You know? Okay. So he's still around, but yeah, it's impossible. It's fucking impossible not to have him.
But it forces you to grow up, and now
and take more accountability for the decisions, you know. Make those decisions with confidence, and grow up. You gotta grow up because he was my greatest. I always say he was like my protector. The dude I had my back. Right. You know. Man.
Creatively speaking, where and you know it's kind of hard. Like I think, especially with me, like the way that. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe this. We have award-winning, Grammy Award-winning God.
Eddie, what up, man? I like the sweater, man.
PJ,
what's up?
Hey, I'm Adam.
Yeah, I'm happy this shit isn't live.
Hello, buddy. What's up, man?
So,
what's up?
PJ, how does it feel to have these guys in your band? And,
please, man.
Wow, he's carrying 6 Grammys.
Wow. These guys. Well, no, the band we have 8. We got 8 Grammys.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we only responsible for less than half of those.
Wait, all right, can I ask?
What's so funny?
Does it really?
You told me.
Does it matter?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
If it mattered, we wouldn't be talking about it. We'd be holding it inside.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a fact. Yeah. No, he jokes about it on stage.
almost every night.
I'm like PJ.
It's a thing, yeah.
I'm like the ex-keyboard. I introduce this guy. He loves when I talk about it, all his Grammys.
Right. Because I hate it. Because I hate it. Yeah, Ahmir told me I was going to win more Grammys. And I'm like, man, it's cool. I'm happy to get that one. It took forever for me to get one.
Nah, man.
And so I'm like, man, look, I'm just happy.
They all can't fit in the bathroom either. You got to put them out on your mail.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's also such different worlds, too. I mean,
Yeah, on the tour thread, on our band thread, I'll be like, "Congrats, PJ," and I'll be like, "Yeah, congrats, PJ."
Yo, I just asked Adam. I was like, "What was it like when you saw that PJ got the duet with Stevie?" He was like, "Yeah, I like to remind him."
I'm like, whatever, man. I remember my first beer. I did that shit.
yeah. No, you performed live with him at the Live 8 or something.
I performed at
Damn.
Live 8 and almost was so petrified I almost didn't make to the stage in time.
Yeah.
What
He called
song?
Really?
Oh yeah, it was like a million
Loves it,
people.
he
there.
loves it. What
What
song
song
was
was
it?
it?
record, Joe.
Like a fool. Signs to deliver.
Okay.
And by the way, talk about no rehearsal. I meet the dude. Sorry, I'm taking your shit right now, but
No,
you can talk about Stevie after
this
me.
is yours. I'm chilling. Yeah.
He goes, I'm joking. He goes, he's like, no, like I'm listening to the record kind of thing. I'm like, shit, okay. I mean, I know the record. But
Doing
I'm
his
like,
ad-libs and all that
okay,
stuff.
like fucking
Right.
practicing to it. And I meet him for 30 seconds, right? And he gives me a big bear hug, a big Stevie bear hug, and he's like, all right. He's like, and it's 20 minutes before we go, right? And he's like, all right, so like you do like a fool. He's telling me all the shit I gotta do. I'm like, really, bro? Like this is it? He's like, yeah. He's like,
Motown style.
yeah. And so I'm like, all right. And so I'm standing on the side of the stage, and Fred, our tour manager's got me, and he goes, Adam Levine, come out here, and sings this shit. And I'm like I've never frozen before, but it was like a million people there, and it was Stevie.
And it's Stevie.
And like, if you fuck this up, it's not good. And so I'm like, oh shit. And you can see there's a video of it. You see me running to get to the mic. And then, of course, in the worst fashion, I mess up the first line so bad. I mean, I caught myself and finally got into the zone. It was great. It wound up being great, but I was like a fool, I wanted to stay too long. And then like, it was so bad. It was horrible.
You're still here, man. You're still here.
Thank God I figured that out. Yeah. Anyway, that's my Stevie story. Sorry, PJ.
Yeah.
So how far in the creative process are you guys into another like your next project?
Man, I'm writing. I am on one. Like I no more co-writers. So I'm done. It's just after however many years and all the things we got to do. Like I finally have just started doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And everything now is coming from me, starting with me, and that's. I have never been happier.
Like it
creatively.
originally was, yeah.
I'm going nuts.
So when do you, for your creative process, when is your best time of creating? Are you a nighttime person, first thing in the morning person?
Daytime, like midday. Like I'm useless like after 8, and in the early morning, like I need to do shit to like get my brain right. Like
What is your morning routine?
just like exercise. I have to exercise. If I don't exercise, I can't think. Like I have to get out and run, do something. I have to do
You
something.
cut, man.
Yeah, shout out to Austin.
Yeah, shout out to my
Where
trainer,
our trainer is
Austin. I
with
love
us.
you, baby.
Well, yeah, it's exciting for me because I joined the band at a unique time. It'll be 14 years in July. Wow. But I joined on the last album where it was like heavy, like all band, right? The one you guys did in Switzerland, and then I always say pre Moves Like Jagger, post Moves Like Jagger.
Yeah.
But then I think he just needed a break in a way, like just a brain break. And it took years, I think, from all of that. I mean, 8th grade, being a band, all of that. And to see him now, this is like vintage Adam. He's like excited, like a kid, like sending me records every other day, like, and they're good and they sound like him. And it's like, I tried to give him some of my boys be like, yo, man, slide this to Adam. I sent him, he was like, bro, I gotta do it myself.
Doing me. Yeah.
And I totally understand that. So I'm excited.
It's
I'm
the
excited
opposite
for this era.
It's the opposite. It used to
Literally,
be. I felt for a minute. I felt like the security blanket of like if the ideas came from elsewhere, that I wouldn't have the pressure of creating them. And that's addictive, especially when you have some success with it, because you're like, okay, fuck, this formula works. And then very, very recently, I don't know what's going on. This is a whole other sidebar, but music is crazy. Like I don't know. I have lost. Maybe I'm old. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. But like, shit is sideways. Like,
so much.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
don't know. So I started getting ideas as usual, but like every idea was one idea was worse than the next. I'm like, I can do better than this. So I think that was a very organic like way to come to that conclusion. It wasn't like,
Yeah, because you were cool with the other. I mean, like you were curating, you know, and then
Yeah.
you would fix these lyrics to make it fit us.
Yeah.
But like now it's like, nah, I can't even hear. I don't want to hear other stuff.
I'm not interested.
You know,
like
like, I
I
just
used to
wanna do it.
only be interested in that,
Yeah,
and now
no,
I'm like,
Wait,
no.
I hope I'm not asking this. This is a dumb question, and y'all have already done this because I know that PJ, you do background vocals and stuff. But have y'all done anything together yet? Like
Nah,
as lead in a way?
Well,
We haven't. You need to come. By the way, like
I know.
you need to
We
come
talked about it.
And
Look,
write and
it's
let's go.
crazy to say. I mean, I've been in this band a long time. I'd be super busy when I'm not
Oh,
with the
shit.
band.
Oh, really, Adam?
where
See
where,
that shit?
where
I see
he's
that
locked
shit.
in
See
so
that
much
shit?
now. I'm like,
Grammy.
man, why you wait till I just like fill in every gap that we have, you know?
yeah.
But
I'm in South Africa.
I'm like, I need parts of this, like what he's doing right now. I'm trying to
Are you
get
trying to
down.
get in?
I sent a couple of tracks, but he's just I'm talking about like 3 songs a day type vibe. That's what he's on right now.
It's kinda
But I've
crazy.
only written
It's
one
crazy.
song with the band, and it was because it was an experiment. We had to create a song in 24 hours in front of the world, watching. This was early,
wow.
live stream.
So they just put a camera inside the
It's like
studio?
Truman Show shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
up. And then
Where was this?
and there were comments.
I don't know.
It's on YouTube.
So
He's
then you
blocked it
see
out.
America go to sleep, and then you see Asia wake up, and they're all commenting like, "We love this part," and it's like he took a nap, and I was like, "We need this."
And they have to
we
watch
need
you
this
take a nap?
bridge.
Let me
He
tell you
went to the
something.
other room.
It was.
And I wrote the bridge.
It was
and sang
all night.
but
It was
that's
24 hours. It was
No,
kind of
literally.
like torture.
No,
I would like this experience.
I know
literally,
you would.
I would not.
literally
I would
torture.
not.
No, that 24 is a little different.
Well,
Once
now,
you get into
now,
18
now
and
though, I
19.
feel like right now we'd be out in like 3 hours.
oh yeah, we'll
like,
make it. Yeah, it's done.
But back then it was like weird.
I think the general rule for me, if we're still harping on an idea after 20 minutes, then it's time to lock it down and do it,
Instant.
or go
Or
to the
go-
next one.
It's got to be in an instant. It's got to be. It's there. If it's not there, it's not there.
No,
That's how I
that's
feel about
100%.
it. I don't work. If it's work, it's work. They
You
don't
know
write
what?
music. That's
Also,
how
you
I
just
feel
get so stuck.
I know
That's
you
how I feel about
guys don't like that idea, but I now want to creatively explore that idea as a project.
The 24 though.
But you don't like the pressure.
I
of-
don't
You
remember
just
it
get
because it
ti-
was
you get-
traumatizing.
I mean, like, yeah, you. At,
You don't want people to watch
At
you do
hour
that shit.
18, you're like,
Okay.
Look, there's a
You're
world
out.
in where I could see
Yeah.
I can see your wheels turning about it because you're like, that sounds kind of dope. Like,
Yeah, I'm like
When
documenting right now.
when
Yeah.
you get in there,
I
bro,
Create a platform that will.
I like the compact time. I just did an album
Watching.
in 30 days in Africa, so I like that.
Ooh.
But the 24,
Come
like
on,
I like
TJ.
sleep.
you don't want
Yeah.
to
And
have to
having
sleep
people
'cause you have
watch
to
it,
perform.
too.
You have to like be able to be
and
like,
watch it.
Yeah,
alert.
because
What-
why? It's like I just think to observe a process is to change it. Like you're not really if you're watching me create now, I'm conscious that you're watching me. So now I'm gonna
even
do
a documentary.
something
Like remember, because they came to shoot us like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, and it was me. I was flying, like I was on one, and then the second they all got in my face, because when we did the thing, it was camera people and sound people everywhere.
whole
It's
time.
100 people
a
there.
production.
It's not good.
Yeah.
That's not comfortable.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no.
probably like sex scene with everybody.
Damn it.
around.
Nah,
Yeah,
for real.
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
real.
Maybe get GoPros, but make sure there's no people.
Like this. Like
Show
like
it
what-
after.
Like
I
Big
got
Brother
Bravo
style.
did.
Yeah, Big Brother, yeah.
Yeah, like
I
don't feel
got
like
it,
there's
I
cameras
got
in
it.
here right now.
Yeah.
We can
Damn
improve,
it.
We can improve this process.
All right, we got to wrap this show
Sorry
up.
for the arms.
However, I do want to ask. All right, one final question, because I wanted to ask just frothy, everyday, regular questions, but I'll pose it to the both of you. House on Fire, and you got to save 5 albums,
Oh, don't do this.
and not box sets or greatest hits.
How about double albums?
Double albums are allowed as a single album. What 5 albums are you saving?
PJ, you want to go first? While I think
You should go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
easier. That's
all right,
good
so maybe
enough.
some Stevie
A
stuff.
collective
Well,
five.
okay,
All right.
can
Which
we-
Stevie? No.
Intervisions probably for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not as much music as Songs in the Key of Life, though.
No, I'm saying we
gonna
gotta
be-
repeat those 9 songs.
Yeah, that's all it had to be.
Shit is tight. I like it.
Warrant, Sweet Cherry Pie.
Go say.
Now making the cut. just a drum solo.
And you got to, come on, you got to say in the microphone.
I'm gonna take Songs in the Key of Life just because it's longer and I'll get more out of it.
And it's safer. All right,
Yeah.
next.
Oh fuck! Come
All
on.
the albums I like are short.
I'm looking for
A
length.
lot of the albums I like are short.
With you.
Okay, 5 albums. Who you go?
I'd probably take Abbey Road.
Okay.
Fuck. I was gonna say fucking Abbey Road.
You can take yours too.
Y'all on the
There are
same
two
band. Y'all can
copies.
share Abbey Road.
There are two copies.
Abbey Road.
All right.
Off the wall.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
3, 2.
Now I'm tempted to go like doing another Michael record.
No,
Just-
do you,
okay.
Adam?
Well, if Thriller's not on your list, your house deserves to get burned.
Steve, don't do that.
I like the pre. I like the pre. I like
Off the Wall is
pre.
the Pinkerton of Thriller's
Yeah.
Blue album.
Okay, I'm not because you said Off the Wall, but I would between those two. Yeah, Thriller. Look at the Thriller. That's 3. Right?
All right.
Thriller.
All right.
Now I'm.
Y'all
now
gotta
I'm-
name some
all
white
now
people.
I'm
Name
stuck
some
a
white
little
people.
bit.
Throw me the one album you wouldn't expect your fan base to expect that you like.
My fan base.
Cat
like,
Stevens.
I don't know if they would know about
Cat
Abbey
Stevens
Road.
B-side.
I don't know if they.
It's
kinda-
trust me.
yeah.
Beatles and black people are
Yeah,
well
we know about
acclimated
Abbey
with each other.
Road, PJ.
No, I'm saying I don't know if my fans would think I like that Abbey Road is my pick.
I would
No,
expect
Well,
you to like
probably
the Beatles.
a James Taylor record. Probably.
Okay,
Now
which
that's-
one? Which one?
Yeah,
Mudslide Slim?
Well, I started on a greatest type thing. So
Okay,
I didn't
yeah.
I didn't go separate record, but like Carolina on my mind and
That was sweet. That was
Sweet Baby James. Yeah,
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
so it's probably that
Sweet
record.
Baby
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Hard.
James Taylor episode of Questlove Supreme. Just
Yes.
throw that in there.
You know, I know.
I know you know.
Nah,
surprises me.
I be hitting like that one was so good. Yeah.
That surprises me. I didn't know you were a JT man.
What?
Nah, man.
See?
Nah,
James
James Taylor.
That's how you get to know each
James
other.
Taylor,
What's
yeah.
so crazy? I don't want to
James
keep.
Taylor.
But I found out about James way later in life. It was like American Music Awards or something, and they were honoring him, and they played "Fire and Rain," and I was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
what
yeah. Well,
is that?"
No Kermit?
And
No
I just
Kermit.
went and like, man, I always go all the way back, and I got the Apple.
Shit. We found out about James at the episode because we thought his music would reflect his life.
Oh,
His life is the exact opposite of his music.
His life is Warrant.
Yeah. No,
He is Warrant.
Yeah, his life is like that. Like, yo.
It's everywhere.
All right, your last record.
I've been sitting here trying to think about it, and it's hard.
You gotta do
No, I
something.
got 5. I only did 3, man. Anyway,
Yeah, he only did
no,
3.
who's counting? Okay, I don't want to, but you know, with
I
you
think
it's
the Blue
hard.
Album's-
But with you
Stop
it's hard
trying to
because then I gotta
impress him.
piss you. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh, you're gonna judge my choice.
No, he is not.
Oh, it's hip hop. What's one of your favorite hip hop albums? Just pick. We'll say hip hop. Got to narrow it down.
But then
to
you're gonna
genre.
judge this choice too. Okay, just because it was the first.
No one's judging you on
just
the show.
stop it. Not overtly, just quietly.
Will you get out of my head and get out of your head?
I want to hear
Yeah.
if I'm okay. Listen, if I'm taking my 5 records. Okay, as far as hip hop, as far as the first hip hop record, first record I ever heard that blew my mind, Raising Hell.
Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah.
Just because it's like I got to go all the way back.
Yeah.
And then
The final.
5 would be. Ooh, this is gonna be so generic. But
No,
I gotta
let's
take
go.
Purple
Dude.
Rain. I have
Okay.
to though,
All right,
because
that
there's so
is.
many
It
great
was-
songs
it
on
was
Purple Rain.
it was
We
there.
respect that.
Yeah,
We do, but
Even
you
though
ain't give
I was
no
gonna
love.
say which Prince record because Raspberry Beret is my favorite.
Around the
Prince
World in a
song.
Day.
Here come
Okay.
PJ deep dive.
That's not my favorite album though. That's my favorite song.
Same.
on that. Yeah.
My favorite album is Parade,
Yeah.
which, was sort of a weird period for him, but, you know.
Yeah.
First
Mine
record
is
is self-titled, right?
1999.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great too.
Yeah. All right, so you
Purple
got,
Rain.
there you go.
There we go.
Purple. Yes, I know. We got to get you out of here because motherfuckers gonna come
I
and
go do Fallon.
I
Oh,
forgot.
you're doing Fallon tonight.
We're about to go do.
Oh
practice.
shit, we are on the show.
Oh, y'all gotta rehearse this stuff, right?
I don't even look
I do
at. I don't even look at the schedule anymore. Yo, thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Nah, thank y'all,
PJ.
man. This was fun.
Yo, man.
The greatest
Thank you for
Questlove
coming.
Supreme fan ever, PJ
Yes,
Morton.
Adam. Thank you so much. On behalf of brand new Bill. Damn, Bill, I'm forgetting your name.
Just Bill.
Just a Bill. Yes, and Sugar Steve and Laia.
Unpaid.
D. Snyder Call wants you to go fuck yourself.
Yo, we'll see you on the next
Thank
round
you,
of
Adam.
Questlove Supreme, y'all. See you. That was awesome.